Hello. Welcome to the first ever episode of Hot Girls Can't Drive. My name is Bree Fish, and this is my new podcast. I am going to be honest, I've never recorded a podcast before, so I don't really have any experience in the whole world of like posting things online, but I am really excited to start this new project of mine. I'm also really nervous right now if you can't tell. I don't know why, but I completely wigged myself out before I started recording. I'm in my car right now, which is really appropriate, hence the title of the podcast. I'm a college student at the University of Miami. And if you're in college right now, like me, you know that you literally get no privacy, especially if you're in a dorm where you have to share a room. So this is the only place that I can record these episodes. But I am just so excited to get started. Podcasting has been something I've been thinking about for around a year right now. My friend Charlotte, shout out Charlotte, has kind of been telling me this past year, oh, you should start a podcast because I have all these crazy stories and I feel like all this shit always happens to me. You know how people are like, why is it always me whenever embarrassing events take place? And I feel like that is always me. I always have these insane stories of things that have happened to me. And Charlotte is always just like, girl, how? How? She's always like, you need to start a podcast. You can talk about all these crazy stories and things you've been through. And I'm like, you know what? I should. To be honest, I was really nervous about kind of what my friends would say when I told them I was making a podcast, just because I don't really have a following or anything. I'm not Instagram famous or TikTok famous. So I don't really have an audience yet of people who would want to listen to this. And to be honest, I was kind of worried at first that there would be pushback from people that don't know me or people that don't like me, and I guess judgment. And then I saw this TikTok recently that was successful people aren't going to judge others for starting in their field. It's people who are unsuccessful and jealous because they're too scared to start new things themselves that are going to be the people that tear you down and judge you for it, if that makes sense. The TikTok was talking about how a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers isn't going to judge you for uploading your first YouTube video, or a businessman isn't going to judge you, a successful business person isn't going to judge you for starting your a first business. And I have kind of been thinking a lot recently about how, we're all really just floating on this big rock in the middle of space, and you really only have one life here. So I just don't really care anymore, if that makes sense. So that's just all to say hi, I guess. I guess the next thing is kind of what I'm planning to talk about on the podcast. So obviously, I want to talk about stories, but I'm also I love learning. I love learning new things, meeting new people. So that's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm hoping to use this platform to talk about those kinds of things. And I'm also just all about self-help and self-care, and I love listening to Emma Chamberlain's podcast, Lexi Hidalgo. I hope I pronounced her last name right. I love listening to her podcast, and I just love their advice and their columns about different new events that they've tried, or things that they've tried, I guess, or hobbies. And I'm all about trying new things, and I definitely feel like I have a lot of life advice that I can give other people just because of specific experiences that I've gone through. So I guess that's kind of, yeah, that's it. So I guess first off, just a little bit about me if you don't know who I am. So like I said, my name's Bree. I'm a sophomore at the University of Miami. I'm from Maryland, and I'm currently attending UMiami on a 3-year Army ROTC scholarship. I'm majoring in international studies, if I didn't say that already. Hopefully I didn't. That would be awkward. And I love swimming. I'm really active, but swimming's my favorite sport. I grew up swimming, and I'm currently on the club swim team. And I love traveling, and I'm a big foodie. So just some fun facts about me. And then I'm also sure you might be thinking, Bree, what is this name? I had been sitting on a name for a podcast for a while. And I think that was kind of the reason why it took me so long to make a podcast, because I was like, I don't really know what I would name it. And at first I was like trying to think of names that would have to do with my last name, like try to put Fish in there just because I love my last name. But I couldn't really come up with anything. And then here's the first crazy story of the podcast. So I am like a pretty good driver, I would say. I've only hit cars twice ever. And I'm 19 years old, by the way. So I've only had my license for a few years. But it was always reversing or parking is when I would hit people. And it only happened twice. And I've always like prided myself in the fact like I feel like I'm a pretty good driver. And then today is Sunday when I'm recording this. On Monday, or not Monday, girl. On Friday, I picked up all of these freshman ROTC students to take them to this like function, get together party thing that my friend was having at our apartment off campus. And it was supposed to be able to get to know all the freshmen. And since I live on campus and I have a car, I offered to drive them. And I didn't really think much of it. I picked all the kids up, we were driving, and I got to her parking garage. And to set the scene for you, they were being really loud and like we were blasting music. Pitbull was playing, love Pitbull. And I was having a hard time focusing. I was like, oh my God, there's so much going on right now. So I called up my friend when we were in the parking garage and I was like, hey, like I'm here. Is this the right parking garage? And she told me no. And we were already late at this point. Like we were supposed to get there like 9:30 and it was like 10:30 now. So I'm like an hour late to this function. And so I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to have to turn around. I was already like trying to get them to shut up because they were talking really loud while I was on the phone with her and I could barely hear her. So I'm kind of flustered at this point. So I go to put my car in reverse in the parking garage. There's no one in the parking garage. I start reversing slowly. And then all of a sudden, a little crunching sound is heard in my ears. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I had backed into a mother freaking wall in my car with 6 ROTC freshmen that at this point, they don't know me. This is basically my first time, like, going out to an event with them. They really don't know anything about me. And I back into a wall. And it really wasn't that bad because I was reversing and I was going slow. So, like, my car has, like, a little scratch and the wall was fine. Like, I wasn't going, like, 70 miles per hour or anything. Like, I was probably going, like, 3 or 4. But they had to make a whole deal, like, oh my God, we almost died, and I was like, girl, bye, no, you didn't die, you're fine. And like this whole story, like, it wasn't that big of a deal. We made it to the party, like, no one got hurt, it was all fine, but I was mortified because here is all these new people that never met me before. I would try to be nice and offer to take them to this party, and now they're probably like, actually, what the fuck is wrong with her? And that's so embarrassing. And I just know I'm gonna hear about it like the entire time I'm in school because I just know that they're gonna bring it up forever and ever till I graduate. So I'm so excited for that. But I came home super embarrassed and I couldn't sleep that night for whatever reason. And that's when I came up with this podcast name because I was sitting scrolling on TikTok after I got home and I saw this TikTok sound, or I guess heard this TikTok. Come on, Bree, talk. This TikTok sound, and it was like, you're either really good at driving or you're hot. And I was like, bye, that's so true. Hence the name. And I also think it's appropriate because I'm probably going to be filming in my car for most of these episodes because I don't have anywhere else to film and I don't want to subject my roommate to like me talking to my computer. So I just thought that was totally funny and totally appropriate because I cannot drive. It's so funny. I'm recording this, like I'm talking to my computer right now in my car. So I don't know if you're like listening to this or if you're watching, but I have this like tiny little microphone that I got. I went to Walmart when I decided I was going to do this and I invested. This is my first podcast investment. It's a tiny little baby microphone and this thing actually like does not work. Like I plugged it in and it was picking up too much noise. Like it was picking up way too much background noise. And I was like, I guess I'm just not going to use this microphone. So it's not plugged in. I'm just holding it for the aesthetics because it was like $9. So I'm going to hold it because I'm broke. So I'm just going to put it to use somehow. But if I'm hopefully like eventually I'll like invest more money into the podcast. I want to bring some of my friends on and like talk to them, just because like if I haven't gone through a crazy event, one of my friends definitely has. So I want them to come on too, because I'm definitely the craziest, but they're definitely up there. And so I think that would be so funny. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like low-key an icon with all my friends. Like, it's okay you don't know that yet, but just so you know, I'm a first name, last name kind of person. Everyone here calls me Bree Fish. Sometimes it's Bree motherfucking Fish. Like, whenever I'm trying to hype myself up, or whenever one of my friends wants to hype me up, they're always like, girl, you're Bree motherfucking Fish. And I'm like, period. I've done everything under the sun. Like, I've pretty much played every single sport. I was like in every single club in high school. Like, I'm just kind of always running around and I'm just everywhere. And whenever one of my friends had like a really stressful day or they've been up for a long time, they're just like, anytime I'm struggling, I just think of you because you've gone through it all and you're always just running around. And I'm like, thanks so much for thinking of me whenever you're struggling, because I'm just 24/7 on the struggle bus all the time, I think. But yeah, so I'm hoping to like kind of talk about my experience being in college, specifically at the University of Miami. Talk about, I guess, like boys, how to balance work at school, how to just be like a 19-year-old girl in 2023, because this shit's hard. Like, I'm struggling so much just like being a girl in 2023, especially after like COVID and everything. Like, my life went like a complete like 360, if that makes sense, degrees when COVID started. It just completely changed. And the fact that I'm sitting on top of a parking garage in Miami, Florida is insane to me. I never thought I would be here. And I definitely believe that like every single little choice you make in life affects where you end up. So the fact that I'm like sitting here is just insane to me. But I wrote on my phone. I really did not research how to do a podcast when I started this. I kind of just like, I'm just going to record. But I know I say like and a lot. I did speech and debate in high school, and I would always get yelled at because I always say like and I always laugh in awkward situations. So I'm working on that. Oh, I bumped the computer. Sorry about that, Queens. And so I wrote down on my notes app everything I wanted to talk about, and I think I hit it all. I don't know. I'm trying to upload this on Spotify, and they were like, if you're not fully ready to commit yet, make a little trailer to post first to introduce everyone to the podcast. And I was like, okay, Spotify, thanks for the tip. So I feel like I don't really want to get into like a whole conversation about something right now, just because A, I didn't plan for it, and B, I kind of just wanted to like make a video to figure out like how to edit podcasts and how to upload it on Spotify. And are my friends all gonna be like, girl, what are you doing? So this is just kind of like an intro, but I'm hoping to like post on Instagram asking questions of specific things people want me to talk about, because if you are struggling with something right now, I promise you I've gone through it, or if I haven't gone through it, I know someone who's gone through it. So I'm all about like giving advice, helping you through things, and sometimes you just like want to be distracted for a little bit, and I completely get that. And so like if you ever want to like if you're ever like, wow, I'm kind of bored right now, I kind of want to listen to Bree Fish talk for a little bit, totally pull up. Like, we're all gonna be best friends. I want to meet so many people like through this. Maybe I'll get some like listeners from the other side of the world, or like the country, and I'll get to meet new people. We can be online besties. So just let me know like what you think, if you have any advice. I definitely am gonna try to invest in like some better sound equipment. So if this quality is like kind of bad, I'm hoping that it's not gonna be a fake microphone. Like, I'm actually gonna order stuff on Amazon or something. I don't know. I watched some TikToks about some good podcast equipment to get. So I'm so excited. This is gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna try to upload weekly, like maybe Sunday nights or something like that. So we'll see. Oh, and lastly, just in case you were like, Bye, she's been smoking for 8 years, why does her voice sound like that? No, I promise I don't smoke. I am sick right now. I think I have the frat flu. My throat has been kind of like gross the entire week. And then I went to a frat pool party yesterday, and now my voice is just like completely dead, and I sound like I've like been smoking since I was 8 years old or something like that. So my voice isn't gonna sound this dead and like scratchy all the time. I promise. Hopefully it'll get better. I've been taking some meds, so we'll see. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to post longer episodes when I actually can figure out how to like podcast. Okay. Love y'all. Bye.